What's up and welcome to FPL Today. I'm JNO, welcome to the channel and welcome to another FPL transfer window as the transfers keep coming in thick and fast. Today we have 3 transfers to go over that could have a massive effect on the Fantasy Premier League season. But before we get into the video, if you're looking for FPL content in your YouTube subscription box, consider subscribing to the channel and let's get on with the video. So the first bit of business we are going to cover today is Javier Hernandez and his £16 million move from Leverkusen to West Ham. Javier Hernandez, or Chicharito, has got experience in the Premier League, having played for Manchester United in the past, also having played for Real Madrid on loan before going to Leverkusen. And there is that one season, which we will cover in another video, where he absolutely tore the Bundesliga apart. And that could be a big reason why West Ham have brought him in, hoping to replicate that in the 2017-2018 season. Now, I was surprised to see how cheap Javier Hernandez was going for, but then when I started to look over everything, I kind of started to see why Hernandez may have gone for a lot less than other strikers that you'd consider around the same quality. Now, we always have to be wary of remembering a player as better than they were, purely because we remember them scoring a couple of times in 3 or 4 seasons past. Sometimes we actually escalate in our opinion how good that player was. Now, I'm not saying Javier Hernandez isn't a good striker. I'm not saying he isn't a clinical finisher. What I am saying is maybe he isn't as good as we remember him. That, and you always know what I say about trying to not rely on players that are coming into a new situation, a new team, under a new manager. Fair enough, it's not a league that is new to him, but he hasn't played in the Premier League for 3 seasons. So you never know for sure if he will hit the ground running. However, coming in at 7 million, he has come in at a price that has attracted a lot of Fantasy Premier League managers' interest. If we have a look at his last season at Leverkusen in 2016-2017, we can see he had 20 appearances with 11 goals and 3 assists, being involved in 14 goals in total. His shots per game was at 2, with a key pass per game of 0.08, 2 man of the match awards and an average rating of 6.89. Now, those aren't too bad, and especially for a £7 million striker, 14 goals out of 20 games. Give him another 18 games if he's going to be a consistent starter for West Ham, and that goal tally could have ticked up to around the 18 mark, maybe the 16-17 mark, but for 7 million, that is a very, very good deal. The reason I would consider Javier Hernandez in my team is literally that 7 million price. If it'd come in at 8 million, I may have looked elsewhere for my striker, but at 7 million, that is a very tempting price for a player that has scored 10 plus goals in the Premier League before with Manchester United. However, of course, Manchester United have been a better team than West Ham for a while, so take that with a grain of salt. Will I be starting with Javier Hernandez? I'll be still doing my usual of watching, keeping him on my watch list and then bringing him in if I see any form. Moving on to the next player, and it is Benjamin Mendy, moving from Monaco to Man City for 49.2 million. Man City seem to be spending a lot on wing-backs at the moment as they shipped out most of their wing-backs from last season. And of course, Benjamin Mendy coming from the very popular AS Monaco side that won the Ligue 1 title last season. It seems in vogue right now to buy a Monaco player, and Man City have now brought in their second alongside Bernardo Silva. Now, the plus side of Benjamin Mendy is, as far as I can tell, there isn't really that much competition for him at left back compared to Danilo and Kyle Walker, both being natural right backs. Danilo can play left back and Danilo can also play centre mid, so there's a chance that all 3 will play in that Manchester City side. However, there is no natural left back really that I can think of that is likely to oust Benjamin Mendy in that Man City side. That could of course change in this transfer window, but right now Benjamin Mendy to me is looking more nailed on than Danilo and Kyle Walker without that much pre-season knowledge of them. Coming in off that AS Monaco side, in 2016-2017 he had 24 appearances with 0 goals but did get 3 assists. Shots per game was at 0.9 and his key passes was at 1 per game. 3 man of the match awards and an average of 7.52. Now, those attacking stats don't make me think I need to get him in my side straight away. With bigger sides, you generally want to try and find the cheapest defender unless there's a defender in that side like a Marcos Alonso who's going to get goals and assists regularly. I assume he's going to be more premium priced than some of the Man City defenders, so for that reason I will probably just keep an eye on Benjamin Mendy, see if there's any more attacking returns than these stats suggest. But of course, start of the season, I'm probably going to try and keep my defence as cheap as possible to load up in midfield and attack for the first 3 game weeks before our wildcard. And then finally, Frank de Boer has brought in a Dutch defender from Ajax into Crystal Palace for an undisclosed fee, and that is Javier Hernandez. I probably said that wrong, and I've probably been saying it wrong for years now because I've also bought this player on Football Manager and made videos with him in my West Ham World Series, which is on my other gaming channel. However, this transfer does bring into question James Tomkins as a starter at Crystal Palace. A lot of people were putting Tomkins in their side because of his 4.5 million price tag. However, now that Frank de Boer is starting to improve that team, who is nailed on isn't as clear. Javier Weald definitely fits the mould of a Frank de Boer player and that kind of Dutch total football philosophy, so that's why I can see him being a certain starter having been brought into the Crystal Palace side. There isn't really any statistics though that suggests he's going to be getting goals or assists, so for that reason, unless he's incredibly cheap, 4.5 million or less, I won't be looking at him at all. What this may do is improve Crystal Palace's defence overall, which then could mean we can find options in that defence, but personally, Javier Hernandez is not a player that I'm considering at all for my Fantasy Premier League side. However, for full coverage of players and big transfers coming in, if we look at his last season at Ajax, we can see that there were no goals and assists in 11 appearances. He did get 1 Man of the Match award and got an average rating of 6.97. His strongest defensive stats were interceptions and clearances at 2 per game. He did have a better record in the Champions League though, getting a goal and assist last season in the Champions League, and had better overall ratings in the Champions League last season and statistics compared to his time in the Eredivisie. That could be because Ajax are such a dominant team in the Dutch league that he didn't have much to do, whereas when he played Champions League football, suddenly he had more to do and he could show the kind of player he was. So it is possible that me looking at these stats and not actually knowing the player, he could be a lot better than the statistics are suggesting to me. Anyway guys, that is it for this FPL transfer window video. I think I'm now caught up with the majority of transfers, but I'm sure some will go through over the weekend. I apologise if I don't get a video up at some point over this weekend. It is my leaving due and my daughter's birthday, and my new job starts next week on Tuesday, so it's going to be a very hectic couple of days for me. I'm going to try my best to keep getting videos up, and tonight, if you're still watching, we are hopefully going to be doing the FPL draft with people viewing the stream, which should be a lot of fun. So if you're around, come and check that out and maybe get involved in a draft or two. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that notification bell if you want to be updated as soon as an FPL Today video is out. My links in the description down below have various ways which you can support the channel, which is always greatly appreciated. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.